Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and I'm doing some copy-paste for this autism diagnosis notebook that I've been making. I also put stickers and stuff. So that's what I'm going to be doing while I talk to you guys. I made a video at 3 a.m. last night, took it down. I know that people have responded, but I couldn't really. It's not about me, you know. I felt really sad about the suffering that's around in the world, and I was worried about my own issues, you could say. And I'm worried about what I'm going to say to my parents about my plans for the summer. Also about how the autism diagnosis is happening, whether they want me or not. How I've been feeling bad and how my plans don't include visiting them, nor do they include like getting a boyfriend, nor do they include like living the kind of life that they want me to live. So yeah, I don't know how to start that discussion with them because I'm scared of them. And yeah, that's been my issue my whole life. So now they're so used to me being just like obedient to them, doing whatever they decide that I should do. And it's not even because like they'd be mad. It's just I think that they just be shocked, you know, if I ended up speaking for myself for once. And yeah, so I'm not in at the moment, like I might be really worried about them. Like I'm worried about them constantly. But it's not good for me to be at the moment because well, I mean, of course they have their physical issues, but like they can deal. They're not like asking for my help or even needing any of my help. So I don't need to go there, you know. And sure, I'll miss them, but that doesn't mean I need to go down there and meet up with them. Just because I miss them doesn't mean that I am, you know, going to be like that is good for me in any way. Like it could be good for me maybe in some way, but in many ways it would be probably negative for my healing. So I'm not going to be doing that. But like telling them that I've put myself in a situation, haven't I, by not telling them anything about my life, and yet feeling dependent on them so that I feel like I have to tell them everything about my life. Like, how do you live? How do you live? I couldn't sleep. I slept maybe like 3 hours last night in total, and then I had to go to work, and then I went to work, and the doctor that's usually my supervisor wasn't there. He was sick because he has post-COVID, so he was at his cardiologist, which is concerning, you know. I thought he was getting better, but now he suddenly had an emergency appointment with this cardiologist. But so now I had to wait, and I didn't know what to do with my patients. I was just sitting there all morning, relying on 3 hours of sleep, pretending to know what I was talking about with the patients, but I do not know what I was talking about. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I was just like, I'll need to talk to the doctor, like, before I can tell you what medicine you need or what I'm going to do. So that meant like I had to do twice the amount of phone calls because I had to call the patients again after talking to the doctor. So there was a doctor there, and she was pretty mean. She was mean, and also she could only come at lunchtime. And it's like, I had plans to go home to eat for lunch, and so I was already cranky, and then I was like extra cranky because I ate at like 1:15 or 1:30 in the end, because I just like plopped myself in a cafe to eat, because I was like dying. And yeah, not really to recommend. So like, you have to take care of your basic needs, otherwise you'll be depressed and feel all sorts of bad stuff, and so I wasn't doing well, and I want to recommend everybody to do what we call the Schumann badness scale. Okay, this should be taught for every psychiatrist. Every psychiatrist should give their patients the Schumann, as our highly esteemed viewer Schumann. He has devised a scale. It's called the Schumann badness scale, and it's basically like kind of like a pain scale, but it's not a pain scale. It's you rate how bad your day is going from 1 to 10, and 1 being the least amount of badness, and 10 being the most extreme badness. And yeah, I realized that like for me a 5 is like okay badness, but you can use it in different ways. But for me it's like I wasn't doing well, and my scale on the badness scale was just getting worse and worse and worse throughout the day. But then I ate, and then I took a nap, and now I feel like I'm somewhat returned to normal. So I'm glad about that, you could say. Yeah, I'm worried about talking to my parents, and I've always been worried about talking to authority figures in general in my life. And well, I guess that my parents are kind of authority figures, you could say. And yeah, I'm not really good with that, because I'm just so used to just like saying yes and obeying everything that they have to say, or at least taking into consideration everything that they have to say, when actually, yeah, it's not important. I'm an adult now. And also, my grandfather sent me an email, which he like never does. He's like the most antisocial person I know, and that's saying something. I think he's an unhealthy INTP. He could also be an unhealthy INFP, but like I don't really see the TE grip that I would think an unhealthy INFP would do, but he sent me an email to like comment about how my name is beautiful, and I'm like, okay, well that's nice, but I don't know how to respond to that email, because he never writes. And I don't know what's like he was feeling at that moment when he wrote that. Does he want me to respond in the same way? What does he want me to say? And also I started feeling really guilty about my secret plans of not seeing, not going to France to visit my family, not going to France to see my parents or my grandfather, nor my brother, but like my brother, I gave him the option that if he wants, he can, he's invited to Japan if he wants to come. But he wasn't really that interested, I don't think. I think that he wants to like maybe get a job or something else during the summer. But yeah, so that's that. I just feel really like stuck because I've never been able to actually tell my parents the things that matter. I've been able to talk about all sorts of things, but not the things that were important. And that's sad, you know. My parents barely know who I am. And yeah, like I was worried about my mother's mental health, especially because, well, you know, she lives in that hoarder apartment and she doesn't seem to be doing too well, you know. But what can you do, you know? If she never tells me about her struggles, then, you know, I can't help her. And same goes for me. If I don't explain to them about my struggles, then they can't help me. But maybe there's a reason that I can't tell them about my struggles, you know, because they don't have any understanding about mental health. And yeah, so I can't really talk to them about these sorts of things. I'm going to try to keep it to the bare minimum. First start was saying that I'm going to be going on a solo trip. That's the first step. I'm quite worried about what reactions I will be getting. I mean, I must be honest, I am scared. But it has to be done because, you know, they are also kind of expecting me to tell them their plans. So in a way, I am fulfilling their expectations. But like, I kind of have to tell them that I'm going to be away and not visiting them. Then I don't need to tell them about like how all of this has been affecting my mental health and that I've been going in therapy and that I've been taking medication and that I am not traveling with a boyfriend because, spoiler, I'm gay. Like, you know, there are many layers of things that they do not yet know nor would understand. And, you know, I got scared about like, oh, well, what if, you know, like my parents are getting old and I don't have much time left with them. I should be spending all of the time that is possible near them. And, you know, there is that saying that like, you know, it's too late once they're dead, you know. You should be spending time with people that you love while they're still alive. But, you know, sometimes is not the time, you know. At the moment, it would be detrimental to my healing to go and see them. It would be better for my healing not to see them. As much as that pains me, you know, because I miss them. I miss them a lot. But like, what is it that I miss about them. Well, I love them, you know. But is it that I miss that they can take care of things while I'm at their house? Is it that I miss talking to my parents? Because that I can do on Skype. Like there's no problem with that. Is it that I miss doing things with my parents? Well, I don't really do many things with my parents. So, you know, do I need to go all the way to France to have a possibly miserable experience? No. So yeah, that's that for today. I've been worried about my autism diagnosis process as well. And that's why I'm making this booklet where I'll be writing down all of the different symptoms that I've had in my past and why I need a diagnosis and all these things. And then I'm putting like cute stickers on there, and maybe it will become some kind of stress relief, I guess. I also have found help to do my move, so that's great. So things are going very well in my life. It's just I have this chronic need to please everyone, and especially my parents, and it just fills me with dread, you know. So I don't know how I'm going to present this to them, but I will have to soon enough. Because also I don't want the plans that I'm making to be messed up by me talking to them about it, you know, because like if I tell them, then they'll suddenly like have tons of like opinions about what I'm doing, and I don't want their opinions to influence what I'm doing, because maybe they'll be like, oh, Japan, but isn't that far, you know, like shouldn't you go and travel somewhere closer? Or I know the kinds of things that they would say, you know, and or they'd be like, oh, you're going to Japan, you should bring us too, you know, and it's kind of draining to have to think that, yeah, I'll have to have all sorts of ready-made responses for these kinds of questions, because otherwise I'll kind of freeze up and maybe agree or be manipulated into something that I don't want to do. So yeah, I haven't figured it out yet, but I will have to at some point. And in the meantime, I wanted to show you this little guy. I got some last year from my supervisor, and I think he makes a noise. Right, let's see if he makes a noise. Oh yes. He was for last Easter, so Easter's coming soon. So I took him from my from my locker and I brought it back home. This badge, I love job, is kind of tongue-in-cheek. The reason I have it is because it has the pride flag. I don't love work. I used to have this on my desk, like at work, and like patients would comment on it and be like, what are you talking about? You love your job? And the people who would ask that were not queer. They did not somehow, like being straight, like blinds you to the fact that there is a pride flag in this heart. But yeah. It was kind of a nice icebreaker to have him on my desk. So yeah, have a great day, everybody.